Hello, everyone. For those that are new to my channel, welcome. And for those that have been following me, I appreciate the support. Make sure that after this video, you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Certainly, I would appreciate any type of support. So one of the things that I want to focus on for this video is talk about something that impacts all of us at some point in our career. One of the things that I hear quite often when I talk to people and meet with them on a one-on-one is that they share with me a lot of stories and experiences where they've come in conflict with a supervisor or someone in their command structure that has truly made it very difficult for the individual to gain perspective or focus on the overall goals that they have working for a department or organization. About 5 years ago, I met an individual that talked to me about an experience similar to what I'm describing, where he himself got in trouble at work and at that point started to grow some resentment and anger and frustration, specifically towards an administration or administrator that essentially was involved with that process of the investigation where the person got in trouble. And when this person met with me, he told me about how difficult it was for him to be able to trust this individual, for him to be able to be friendly with this individual, and for him to let go of some anger and resentment that had grown because of this experience. It was having so much impact in his personal life that at home, he would often find himself sharing the same story as to how badly he was wronged by this supervisor, and it was impacting the way that he was relating to his wife at home. He also found himself being a little bit shorter with his kids, getting more irritable with friends and family, and started to grow a broader resentment towards the organization because of this experience that he had faced. Of course, a very difficult situation, right? Anytime that we go through adversity like that, it's very possible for us to lose sight as to what it is that we want to continue doing in the career. So we meet for the session, and as I'm talking to the individual, I'm learning that there's a lot more to the story that was a contributing factor or factors towards the resentment and the story to continue to fester and grow inside this person's heart. And I asked him, well, have you done anything different about the situation? Like, what have you done to make the situation different? And he flat out said, I haven't done anything about it. I don't know what is there for me to do. This person wronged me. They were at fault. They're responsible for what happened and the way that I'm feeling today. And I just can't let go of that. So I listened to that, and I'll never take away this experience from the individual, but I did ask him, this incident that happened a few years ago, did you have anything to do with that? I mean, was the reason that you got in trouble for, was there some validity of that? And he says, well, yeah, I did do what I got in trouble for. But what hurt me the most is that the person that brought up the concern, the supervisor, I was very good friends with him. He said my family and I would actually, get together in the weekends. Our kids knew each other, and that's what hurt me the most, that it came from someone that I consider a very close friend. I said, all right, so there's a lot of hurt and a lot of pain in that, a lot of betrayal, right? Like my trust was broken at that point. I said, yeah, I get that. And it must have been very painful, very hurtful. And I said, and yet, what have you done to heal from that incident? He said, well, nothing. I said, okay. So I'm going to tell you something, right? I told this individual, I will say something to you, as I will tell you right now if you find yourself in the same situation. Is that if I were to ask this other individual, the one that grieved against you, the one that wronged you, the one that hurt you, if I were to ask that individual about their experience from 5 years ago, they would likely have a different recollection from what happened, right? Than you would. If I were to compare both stories, like what was your perspective? What's your perspective? And what's your perspective? There'll be variations in what we recollect about that incident. I said that's point number one. The other one is that this is the same concept of us drinking the poison pill, hoping that it impacts the other person. That's that anger, that resentment. And that will continue growing and growing and growing. And we hold on to that. And the only person typically that's being impacted, it's us. It's not the person that did the wrong against us, it's us. The other person might have completely forgotten about it. And yet we're still holding on to that resentment and that anger because of that thing that happened. And ultimately, the person that has the most power, the most control, the decision-making power to make that experience be different is us. It's you. That is it. It is very likely the thing that you are expecting for that other person to do, the one that grieved against us, the one that wronged us, if you're expecting for them to come and apologize and take full ownership of what happened, you're likely going to be met with disappointment. Because that person is probably not even thinking about it. Or maybe they're thinking about it in a very different way than we are. So when I ask this person, have you considered the concept of forgiveness? Have you considered the concept of seeing the situation different? Or being different or feeling different about the situation? He told me, he's like, I'm not someone that's going to forgive. I'm not someone that's going to forget. I'm not someone that's going to let someone come back into the circle of trust once they have betrayed me in that way. I said, well, that's where the opportunity lies. That's where the opportunity for healing exists. The fact of the matter is that when you find yourself in a situation like this, you can either adopt a victim mindset or a hero mindset. Now, I'm not telling you that the experience didn't happen. I'm not telling you that it doesn't hurt or it didn't hurt. I'm not telling you that you have to forget about what happened. I'm not even saying that you have to forgive the person in a way that you have to be friends with them. That's not at all what we're saying here. What's important, though, is to figure out what are my strengths, what are my qualities, what are my abilities, what is it that I need to do to learn from this experience, to reframe the experience so it doesn't impact me today as it did X amount of years ago. To where you look back at that experience and you're no longer hostage to those feelings because of something that happened many years ago. Consider you being the hero of your story. Consider you being the person that decides, you know what? Yeah, that really was horrible. That really impacted me. That was hurtful. And yet, this is how I am going to get back up. This is where I have the power to continue to make positive and meaningful relationships in my life. This is how I learned the concept of forgiveness. Again, doesn't mean that you have to forget about what happened. It just means that you're going to reframe the experience for the benefit of you. So be the hero of your own story. You get to decide how it is that you're going to move forward after someone has wronged us in that way. The other thing, too, that's important to consider is reframe the story, reframe the experience. Meaning that, again, I was hurt, my trust was betrayed. That's not going to be the end of me. That's not going to be the thing or the experience that derails me from what it is that I need to accomplish here. That connects to your purpose and to your why. Even though someone in my path proved to be someone that I don't align with or proved to be someone that betrayed who I thought they were, that is not the reason why I'm going to remain stagnant. That is not the reason why I'm not going to thrive, because my purpose and my why is much deeper and much more meaningful to allow for this experience to derail me from where it is that I'm supposed to be going. If you can consider and if you can reconnect with what your purpose is, what is your why do you keep going to that same place of employment? Why do you keep putting on the uniform? Why do you keep, again, engaging in the same type of work, professional work, after experiencing this adverse situation? Well, if you can find that connection to your purpose, to your why, what you're passionate about, your core value system, what you really care about in life, these experiences are not going to be the ones that are going to keep you from moving forward. So it's something that you have to be very clear on. What is it that I stand for? What's my moral compass here? What's my driving energy? And when you can, again, think about that, you start creating strategy as to how these experiences where someone wrong us, for example, that they're not going to be the ultimate thing that keeps us stagnant and keeps us in a place of resentment and hurt. Again, consider being the hero of your story. Reframe the experience to your benefit. And don't forget about what your purpose is, what your why is. Because believe me, you'll not. Right? We're all going in the same direction, my friends. And we're all going to end up in the same place. Don't ever let these experiences keep you from achieving the greatest person that you can ever be. And as I always say, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Until next time.